I was a student athlete for as long as I could remember, running track and field and playing basketball in middle school, high school, and college. And what I really enjoyed about that experience for me is that I held on to both the athletic experience as well as my academic experience.
Penn, Princeton, Stanford, you got accepted into all those schools. How did you come to the decision on going out to the West Coast?
Well, I like Stanford for the weather, that's one. But it also had the best of both worlds. It had the academics, and then it had the athletics. Because even though when you go to college, you can get an education anywhere. But Stanford has the name, of course. It has the rigorous, like classwork activities that I would want, but also has the athletics because I'm passionate about my sports career or track and field, regardless of how far it takes me or where I go with it. But I just like the fact that it has both.
Based on my travels, on my way to the Olympics, as well as just competing in college and high school, what I realized was that a lot of African students were being forced to choose athletics or academics instead of really honing in on the fact that they could do both. So I wanted to create an experience that would do both of those things, let them know that they can continue to chase athletics, chase academics at the same time, but also to introduce STEAM and STEM subjects to them in a fun and creative way. And that is how we came up with Camp Next Gen. Dreaming up and thinking about Camp Next Gen, we wanted to take the student athlete experience on the road. And it was important for us to combine STEAM and sport because we know that for the next 50 years, most of the jobs, especially on the continent of Africa, are going to be coming from the STEAM subjects. So that's your science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And then we also know, and I can speak to this from my own personal experience, is that athletes learn so much of the intangible skills on the field, on the track, on the court, and we wanted to be able to teach that to our campers throughout our program, whether that is diligence or having a strong work ethic, goal setting, and just teamwork. A lot of those things, it's easy to say, but hard to teach. And I know for me, I learned a lot of that during my athletic pursuits. A typical day at Camp Next Gen starts at the pickup point where our buses or transportation will pick up the students that will come to camp. Usually that'll be at their school where they are currently attend, and we get them, they come to our venue. It's not always the same place where they go to school, usually at a different venue. They come in, they get registered, they get their new t-shirts, they get a goodie bag filled with school supplies, snacks, and lots of different goodies, and then we go on to have breakfast. The cool thing, what I love about breakfast is that we often travel with our team of volunteers that are coming from all over the globe. So whether it's the United States, whether it's the UK, other parts of Europe, or even other parts of Africa, the volunteers are there and we all file in and sit with them and have breakfast with them and get to know them. So picture you have 5 students at each table paired with a volunteer coming from overseas. So even from the beginning of the day, you have that cultural exploration and exchange between cultures, between ages, sometimes between genders, and things like that. So the kids get to really have a unique experience to interact with people who love them before seeing them and just excited to watch them grow and experience the camp as much as the campers are excited to just enjoy the camp. After breakfast, we go straight into our sporting activity. This year, it was basketball and soccer or football, and we split up the kids into 2 cohorts. And the first will do their soccer first, basketball second, and then vice versa for the second group. And we go out there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and our volunteer coaches will take them through drills, take them through scrimmaging, and lots of different things that we will play around with the kids.
I think I had to take a good look at myself to understand and really having to explain the game of football, so taking it back to the basics, having such a mixed level of kids coming in, some of them who are passionate football players, and also some of them this might be an introduction to the sport. So yeah, it's been a challenge for myself as well to have to understand how you explain the basics of football. And I think I've really enjoyed that, being able to give some demonstrations, seeing how the kids can pick up something so quick within the 2 hours that we are on the pitch together. And also I've heard so many stories of kids who have real inspiration or aspiration to become football players, to become the next Super Eagles captain.
A lot of times with the girls, what we'll see is that the girls, when they learn and they see some of the volunteer women who are joining in the soccer training, they now have the courage because it's something that they always wanted to pursue, but soccer or football is seen as a boy sport. So you see a lot of the girls that will take to learning to play the game and getting really excited on the field, and that's always been a really big hit for us. If I had to change one thing about how STEAM and STEM are integrated in schools, I would encourage both boys and girls to participate on both sides and make sure that girls aren't shied away from the sport that they want to compete in, and that they're actually encouraged to participate in the boy sports.
Some of the girls who were asking me for tips how they can put the team together because they would love to have training sessions as well. So many great questions and little bits of advice that I can be giving here and there, and also things for us to think about how we can give a positive impact in their lives moving forward and be able to help them to solve the issues that they're thinking about.
After we finish off with both sides of the sporting activities, we come back in for lunch, again interacting with the students and filing around and just getting to know them. And by this point of camp, the kids are relaxed, so they're asking more questions, they're challenging us to different challenges. We're dancing, they're telling us about their best songs, their favorite songs. So by this time we are really friendly with the students and making more memories than you thought when we started the day. And then from there we go on to our STEAM activity. This year we did something a little bit different. So instead of focusing solely on drone technology, where we're building the drone and then flying the drones, we added a couple other STEAM activities. We had a station for coding, we had a station for electronic circuits, and then our usual building a drone and flying drones. So the kids were able to go into 4 different STEAM sections where they're able to take part of all those different activities and just really have a broader understanding of STEAM as a discipline and all the different verticals that are within it, and see where their interests lie.
Seeing them learn in the afternoon sessions, whether it's to fly a drone or to code or scratch, it's been something really special, and I think the impact of this camp is something that should spark their imagination. I think there's been a lot of talks of the kids wanting to do the activities again, or saying that they have an ambition to become a drone pilot or a football player. So it's been really, really interesting to hear what they want to do. And I think it's been really good to be able to just spend this afternoon or the morning with them doing these different activities. And hopefully it's been something that now they want to follow up themselves and continue to progress in.
So then of course, flying a drone, I think, is the ultimate exciting factor for camp. A lot of the times campers have never seen a drone before or even held one. So at camp, where they're able to build a small drone, fly medium-sized drones, and really interact with a professional grade drone that they get to fly and they get to race, that is something that really starts to open up their mind to the possibilities of what can happen.
It's very inspiring to see the children's eyes light up when they see the drones lift off the ground, And it just really is nice to see them experiencing things that they may not otherwise get a chance to experience.
First, before flying the drone, I was afraid because I thought I'm going to crash. But when I was taught how to control, how to move it, and I tried it, I saw that it was nice, and I even feel like doing it every time.
One story in particular that always sticks with me is there was a young man who came to our camp in Zimbabwe, and we'll often ask our students at the end of camp to write thank you letters to our donors, just so they can give their own personal reflection of what's happening at camp and how they enjoyed it, what they learned, or their main takeaways. And in his letter, unprompted, he wrote that it was always his dream to fly a drone. And I didn't know this, and to make a drone and to fly a drone, we made his lifelong dream come true. And when you hear things like that, it really tells you that you're on the right path and you're doing the right thing. After we conclude our STEAM session, that concludes our day, and the kids will get back on the bus and go back to school for drop-off, where their parents will come get them.
I will say that one of my favorite things about the camp is the fact that it affords such great opportunities to so many children with as many resources as it has. It really is the epitome of making things work. It takes a very small, dedicated team and produces effects that affect these children for the rest of their lives.
Camp Next Gen challenges the belief that you have to choose academics or athletics earlier on, because we know that you can do both and that each side of the equation helps the other side. So when we are playing soccer or we are playing basketball and we are learning about teamwork and setting goals and having a great work ethic, we can apply those same tools to a STEAM education or a STEAM field. I hope each child that comes to Camp Next Gen takes away the idea that sky is the limit and that they should not put any limit on what they can do. And then also show them that they can do both. All of our volunteers are people who've done both, people who have been athletes, people who have been pursued STEM subjects, and that are still having thriving lives, are happy, and can even give back in this manner. As we've run the camp for 5 years now, each year I come back with a new story that inspires me. When I think about our first camp, we had, and it was a very small camp, only 50 students. It was first time doing it, and we pulled it together really quickly. And there were two young ladies that came to camp. I call them my twin towers because they stood at 6'3" and 6'4" at nearly 14 and 15 years old. They had a hunger to play the game of basketball, but didn't know exactly how to hone their skills. Came from very underprivileged backgrounds, both unfortunately being orphans. And throughout the course of camp, the way that they blossomed and grown, and over the last 5 years, I've seen them go on to complete their secondary studies and also enter college. And we've been in touch, and I serve as a mentor to these two young ladies as they continue to grow. When I think about the future of Camp Next Gen, expansion for us looks like more camps in more places. What we also want to do is have a cohort of 10 cities that we've gone to, that we will continue to go back to those cities and to build upon the work that we started. So like I talked about those two young ladies that were at our first camp in Nigeria, we want to be able to follow them up and help them in their endeavors, especially if they choose a STEAM or STEM subject, and really help them thrive in that next step. An initiative that we started after our Zimbabwe camp is #Camp2Career. So that gentleman who said it was his dream to fly a drone, and we were able to grant that dream, we took it a step further and paid for his training to become a fully licensed drone pilot. And as soon as he's ready, any day now, he will be able to launch his own drone business in Zimbabwe, and that can take him anywhere. For those of you who are looking for ways to support us at our next camp, we are always looking for donations and funders to be in partnership with us to bring this camp to more and more students across Africa. Each year we go to a new city and we want to extend the camp to as many kids as possible, but that can only be done with the help of our supporters in our community. So if you'd like to get in touch, if you'd like to be an in-kind donor for some of the supplies that we need, whether it's school supplies, sporting equipment, or just donate to be able to pay for the venue, pay for the food, pay for the insurance, or all the things that we need to make a camp successful, we'd love for you to get in touch.
Let me see you go.